Puka Nacua was one of the NFL's fastest rising stars until everything changed. In early 2026, shocking allegations surfaced, followed by reports that led to a ban.
Well, there's a lawsuit. A woman has sued Puka Nacua, alleging multiple bites.
Now, his career, reputation, and future hang in the balance.
But this one's the most serious because it involves alleged harm to another human being.
Stay tuned as I unravel the full story. The red flags. Heading into 2026 as the final year of his rookie deal, Puka Nacua was one of the 2 or 3 best receivers in football. The Rams had every reason to pay him. Then December arrived. On December 10th, Nacua went live on Instagram from the Rams locker room after a win, in violation of NFL and team rules. Teammates were visible in the background. He ignored requests to stop. The team addressed it internally. 6 days later, on December 16th, Nacua appeared on a live stream with streamers Aiden Ross and Neon.
So go up, spin it, flex, then look and go like this. All right? Yes! Yes! Just like a bow, yes, just like this.
Ross suggested a hand-rubbing gesture as a touchdown celebration. Puka agreed to do it and promised to use it in his next game.
All right, so do it all one.
Yo!
Spin it, flex.
Dude!
Yes!
In the camera.
Does that? We got you do it?
Yeah. Bro!
That's easy.
The gesture was the Happy Merchant meme, one of the most widely used anti-Semitic images in online white supremacist communities. A 2018 academic study found it among the most prevalent hate memes on 4chan and Gab, 2 platforms central to alt-right activity. Puka issued a public apology on Instagram and said he had no idea the gesture was offensive. The NFL condemned anti-Semitism, and Nacua was separately fined $25,000 for criticizing officials during the same stream. 3 days later, after a Thursday night loss to Seattle, he posted more referee criticism on X and then deleted it. Sean McVay had just defended him to reporters moments earlier. Reporters told him about the tweet in real time. Notably, between the stream and the deleted tweet, Puka had played one of his best individual games, 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that same Seahawks game. McVay was asked about the stream directly.
Yeah, he was very apologetic. I don't think he understood the totality of some of the things. I think he issued that apology. I know this guy's heart, and for anybody that was offended, terribly sorry about that.
He also mentioned that Puka was a great kid.
He's a young guy that's a great kid that's continuing to learn about, just the platform that he has. I love him. We're going to continue to put our arm around him and help him learn and grow.
Then on December 31st, Nacua was at a group dinner in Century City, Los Angeles. What allegedly happened that night would not become public for nearly 3 months. A civil lawsuit filed March 25th, 2026 in Los Angeles County Superior Court by Madison Adiabi, 24 years old and Jewish, alleged that Nacua made an unprovoked anti-Semitic remark at the dinner table, then bit her companion on the hand and bit Atiabi herself on the left shoulder, hard enough to leave a full circular bite mark that broke skin.
It was one of those things where it's like, what's going on here? Well, there's a lawsuit, there's a response. Puka Nacua has hired a lawyer.
Atiabi filed a police report on January 1st, 2026. No criminal charges have been filed. The case is civil only. Madison Atiabi's account is specific, documented in court filings, and supported by a photograph, and it does not read like a story built around ambiguity. According to complaint excerpts obtained and reported by ESPN, TMZ, and the Los Angeles Times, the evening began at a Century City restaurant. Atiabi says she did not know Nacua personally before that night. They were connected through mutual friends. At dinner, with others seated at the table, she alleges Nacua said, "Gall the Jews," without any provocation. Atiabi says the comment rattled her immediately, given her Jewish faith, but the dinner continued without further incident.
She also alleges that he said something anti-Semitic, which dovetails with the thing that got him in hot water unwittingly. At least that was
with
his
the
explanation
YouTubers
back in December.
Yeah.
The group then boarded a Sprinter van headed to a club. In the van, Atiabi alleges Nacua became erratic, dropping his head into her companion's lap and biting her thumb with enough force to make the woman scream, then turning to Atiabi and biting her left shoulder with what the filing describes as massive force, using his full mouth. The wound broke skin. A circular bite mark impression remained. She attached a photograph of that mark to the court documents.
Long and the short of it is this. A woman has sued Puka Nacua, alleging multiple bites.
Meanwhile, photos had been surfacing in March showing Nacua entering and exiting a facility in Malibu. On April 1st, 2026, his attorney made it official. Nacua had been at the Malibu facility for quite some time before the lawsuit became public. His attorney, Levi McCathern, confirmed the admission was not directly tied to the lawsuit, but that media coverage of recent events was a contributing factor. McCathern stated the goal is for Puka to improve his overall behavior in every aspect of his life, and that he is expected to complete the program in time for Rams OTAs. The response that carried the most weight and the most carefully measured language came from Sean McVay at the NFL annual league meetings in early April 2026. He said the right things, telling reporters the Rams have known about the New Year's Eve incident since it happened and were continuing to gather all the appropriate facts before rushing to judgment. He said he trusts Puka's heart. He said the team wants to put their arms around him and help him grow, but embedded in every sentence of support was a condition, and the analysts on Locked On Rams parsed that threading precisely.
So I like the fact that he acknowledged that there have been some discussions about, hey, he's got to represent the organization better.
But even with all the mistakes Puka has been making, he's still going to be a member of the team for a long time.
Sean McVay has 100% wrapped his arms around Puka Nacua publicly and said, hey, whatever he's dealing with, this guy's going to be a Ram for a long time. And
McVay's actual words from those meetings, Andes, as reported by ESPN, landed even more deliberately. He said, the play on the field is amazing. And then with what the play has dictated and determined, there's a responsibility in terms of representing all things. He added that the organization is hopeful that Puka will be a Ram for a long time and that this stretch serves as a learning opportunity. That word of hopeful is doing enormous work in that sentence. It is not certain, it is not committed, it is hopeful. For a franchise player in the final year of his rookie deal, there is a universe of space between those words. Puka Nacua did not come into the NFL as an expected star. He was a 5th-round pick, 177th overall, out of BYU in the 2023 draft. Nobody had him penciled in as a franchise cornerstone. His full name is Makea Puka Nacua. He grew up in Provo, Utah after being born in Las Vegas. He lost his father, Lionel, to diabetes complications at age 11. His mother, Panina, raised 6 children alone. That is the foundation the football career was built on. He set NFL records for receptions and receiving yards by a rookie wide receiver in a single season. 105 catches, 1,486 yards. He earned second-team All-Pro, a Pro Bowl selection, and PFWA All-Rookie honors. His playoff debut went for 181 receiving yards, another rookie record. 2024 was shortened by knee injuries, but in 11 games, he still posted 79 catches for 990 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 2025, he returned and produced the best season of his career. 129 receptions, 1,715 yards, 10 touchdowns, unanimous first-team All-Pro. He became the fastest receiver in NFL history to reach 250 career receptions, doing it in 36 games.
It's still super exciting. I feel surreal, but I know it's going to be a headache for the defense across from us.
The timeline of controversies involving Puka was just one incident following another, each one adding to the same pile. The weight of the pattern. Atiabi's civil lawsuit, filed March 25, 2026, alleges assault and battery, gender violence, negligence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, with damages to be determined at trial. She also filed for a temporary restraining order. A Los Angeles judge declined to grant it immediately, citing the need for more information before a scheduled April 14th hearing. On March 27th, Atiabi voluntarily withdrew the TRO petition without prejudice to focus entirely on the civil case, which proceeds to trial on all counts. Alongside the formal legal machinery, her side also alleged something that had not been in any of the original reporting. According to her attorneys, during a mediation conference held in March 2026, around March 11th, representatives from Nacua's camp threatened to leak false information to TMZ and other media outlets if she continued to pursue the matter. Her side reported receiving threats following the public attention the story generated. Joseph Carr, Atiabi's attorney, rejected every element of the defense framing, calling the characterization of his client's claims as horseplay, both dismissive and false. Puka's attorney, Levi McCathern, who has also represented Jerry Jones and fought to restore Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy, came out with a coordinated, aggressive denial on every single allegation. The anti-Semitic remark is a blatant lie, he said. Sober witnesses at the dinner, including Rams players who were present, heard nothing of the sort. On the bite, McCathern did not deny physical contact happened, but characterized it as innocent horseplay, mutual, playful party roughhousing that left a temporary mark with no lasting harm. He pointed out that the group continued to the club and partied for the rest of the night. Behavior, he argued, inconsistent with the trauma and distress described in the complaint. McCathern went further than a denial. He accused Atiabi's side of running a calculated extortion play. He said his office had been contacted in the months after the incident with demands for millions of dollars in exchange for silence.
He says that they have been trying to shake Puka down for millions and millions of dollars. So that's his side of the story. I mean, I think what we've got here, guys, clearly is that this is setting up for a fight because
he framed the lawsuit's timing, filed just days after Jackson Smith and Jigba signed a market-setting receiver contract, as deliberately engineered to exert financial pressure during Nacua's own extension talks. He said his team possesses video evidence showing Atiabi dancing and socializing with the group after the incident in the van. A defamation countersuit was promised. As of April 2nd, 2026, none has been filed. Atiabi's attorney, Joseph Carr, rejected the horseplay framing and denied the extortion claim entirely. The lawsuit moves forward. Now, to fully understand why this story carries the weight it does, you need to look at who was on that December stream with Puka Nacua and what their platforms actually look like. Aiden Ross is not a neutral personality. He has held public discussions with white nationalist Nick Fuentes and has maintained a documented relationship with Andrew Tate, who was awaiting trial in Romania on charges including human trafficking and rape. Spectrum News reported that Ross had repeatedly allowed self-identified neo-Nazis onto his channel in what he framed as open dialogue. His own manager reportedly told him that mainstream celebrities will not appear on his stream because of his documented association with Nazis. This is the environment Puka Nacua chose to walk into.
I hate you black people! I will whip you! And stupid whore, dumbass black monkey tree, suck my. No one fun people that lost their lives on 9/11. Dead ass, you dumb black.
That clip is a sample of the kind of content that has been normalized across these streams. Racial slurs, anti-black language, targeted harassment, pulled directly from recordings made during Ross-affiliated broadcasts and cited in reporting on what these platforms routinely amplify. Puka went to their gym. He played ping pong. He laughed and joked around.
Okay, how tall are you, Puka?
6'2".
Real quick, can me and Aiden be water boys for the Rams?
Pull up, bro.
Can we for a day?
For real, bro. We'll squeeze it in your mouth.
That'd be fun.
No.
He was comfortable, and then the gesture happened. And whether or not Puka understood what it meant in the moment, the argument that he simply didn't know falls apart when you consider that one Google search would have revealed everything about these men before a single camera was ever pointed at him. The defense that Puka is a kid who just wants to have fun is not wrong, but it is being tested by the sheer accumulation of events. Before the December stream, there was the June 2025 paternity dispute with ex-girlfriend Hallie Iono, who filed court documents seeking confirmation of paternity and full physical custody of their son Kingston, born October 2025, after Puka's initial response included a request for DNA testing. The couple appeared to co-parent amicably now, but the story got out, and Iono had shared social media posts describing feeling unsupported and alone during significant stretches of the pregnancy, posts that sat online and accumulated their own audience before anyone ever heard the name Madison Atiabi. His brother Samson was arrested for allegedly taking a Lakers player's SUV. Charges were dropped after investigators concluded Samson believed it was Puka's similar vehicle, a genuine case of mistaken identity, not Puka's doing. But the title was attached to the headline. It traveled with his name anyway. The locker room live stream, the gesture, the fine, the deleted tweet, the New Year's Eve allegations, the bite mark photograph, the civil lawsuit, the rehab. Each incident carries its own context. Each one, in isolation, can be explained away or minimized. Together, they form a narrative that has taken on a life entirely separate from what Puka Nacua does on a football field. And the thing about that kind of narrative is that it doesn't stop just because. The performance doesn't.
But this one's the most serious because it involves alleged harm to another human being, and it's just kind of bizarre behavior if it's true.
That single sentence frames the dividing line. Everything before the lawsuit could be categorized as poor judgment, immaturity, or bad luck. The bite allegation, supported by a documented photograph, a formal police report, and a civil complaint filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, sits in a different category. And that is the weight the Rams, the league, and the contract talks all have to carry at the same time. The Pro Football Football Talk panel on NBC put the broader contract question into one sentence that became the clearest framing of the whole situation.
Like, nobody's going to want to throw millions of dollars to someone who's unpredictable and volatile off the field.
Right. That's a massive commitment, obviously, for an NFL team, especially for a wide receiver. He deserves that kind of money because that's how good he is.
But the Rams still have to ask the difficult question. That is not a rhetorical question.
But I think the Rams may be saying to themselves now, hey, is this somebody that we want to commit that kind of fortune to? So
it is the actual calculation sitting on Les Snead's desk right now. The civil case is proceeding. The April 14th hearing date, tied originally to the TRO timeline, may no longer apply given Atiabi's withdrawal of that petition, but the lawsuit itself moves forward on all counts. No criminal charges have been filed. Nacua's legal team is preparing a defamation countersuit. Nothing is resolved. What is resolved, or at least documented with finality, is the career Puka Nacua has built to this point. 313 receptions, 4,091 yards, 19 touchdowns, 44 games. A rookie season nobody saw coming. A 2025 campaign that put his name at the top of every receiver conversation in football. A 2026 contract year that could make him one of the 10 highest paid skill position players in the history of the sport if everything goes right from here.
What's on the line is a massive contract, life-changing money, and the opportunity to continue to get better as a football player.
And that's not all.
And help a Rams team led by him and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay win another Super Bowl.
That framing, affectionate as it is from within the Rams community, contains the sharpest edge in the whole conversation. What comes next for Puka? The Locked On Rams analyst noted that the structure of McVay's every public defense of Puka followed the same architecture, a statement of support immediately followed by a reminder about responsibility and representation, as though the back half of every sentence was designed to reach Puka directly rather than the press. The Locked On Rams panel went even further in reading those comments, pointing out that McVay is acutely aware of his own platform and the reach every public statement carries. When a coach of his profile speaks, it moves markets, shifts narratives, and lands in the locker room. Every word in those press conference answers was chosen with that in mind.
And he realized that, hey, at this moment, I got to do what's best for me as a football coach, and that is letting the best player on my team outside of Matthew Stafford know that, hey, I have his back in this situation.
GM Les Snead was even more pointed in his restraint. When asked whether the off-field drama was creating hesitation around an extension, Snead replied, "Right now we're just focused on the human being, and then we'll get to that step. No figure, no timeline, no signal either way. Just the person comes first." That framing, compassionate as it sounds, is also the most defensible organizational position imaginable heading into a negotiation over potentially $40 million per year in an active civil lawsuit environment. It gives the Rams every option. Paying him becomes a story about character and belief. Not paying him or delaying becomes a story about prioritizing the human being over the business. Both narratives serve the organization. Only one of them serves Puka. Off the field, one of the most emotionally direct responses came from former NFL wide receiver TJ Houshmandzadeh, who has trained Nacua, describes their dynamic as mentorship. He said he knew about the rehab before it was public.
TJ trained Puka in the offseason a couple of times as well. I mean, last season as well, you got a good relationship with him.
Houshmandzadeh was unambiguous about two things simultaneously. He does not believe Puka made the anti-Semitic remark. Anybody that know Puka, all he want to do is have fun. And he also believes Puka drew that target straight onto his own back.
Is Puka being targeted? Yes. But did Puka paint the target on his back? Absolutely. And that's the thing about it. Like,
his advice was practical and unsparing. He said, just go ahead and spend that $1,000 every time you step out into these streets and get security, because now you're going to spend $100K on an attorney. He warned that the Rams in the league have limits to their patience, not because they don't believe in Puka, but because the noise has a cost and institutions eventually stop absorbing it. He also offered the sharpest version of the larger argument. Puka can be as much fun as he wants, but fun looks different when you have $40 million a year on the table and cameras pointed at you everywhere you go. He invoked Chad Johnson as the comparison, a receiver who partied and laughed and enjoyed his fame but never went to bed drunk in public view. Different kinds of fun, different kinds of discipline.
few receivers had more fun than one of your closest friends, Chad Johnson. Few receivers in the history of football had more fun than Chad Johnson. But Chad still got his paper.
The distinction Hushmanzadeh drew was not about sobriety as a moral standard. It was about self-protection as a professional one. Chad was drinking cranberry juice in the club. He was laughing and talking and dancing all night, but he was also completely in control of what the camera was seeing. That is the gap Puka has not been able to close. Over on the speakeasy, the conversation about the rehab broke into two distinct camps, and both had a point.
Probably the biggest news of the day, Puka Nacua checked into rehab after allegedly having a drunk New Year's Eve bite attack and whatnot.
One voice on the panel, who said Puka had personally informed him of the decision before it became public, framed it as genuinely proactive. Nobody told Puka he had to do this. The team did not mandate it. It was not a condition of keeping his roster spot or his contract talks moving forward. Puka did it on his own.
We have to start praising humans, athletes, celebrities, people of influence when they actually do the responsible thing.
His reasoning was simple.
If you gonna knock Puka for acting wildly, erratically, drinking publicly, whatever the case may be, then applaud him when he goes out there and seeks and gets the help on his own fruition, by the way.
The counter argument from within the same panel was equally rational. Puka has somewhere between $140 and $170 million in guaranteed money sitting on the negotiating table. The timing of the rehab becoming public, strategically disclosed by his attorney amid an active lawsuit, could not be more financially convenient. His attorney's release of that information was a deliberate communication decision. The photos of Puka entering and leaving the facility had already surfaced in March. Getting ahead of the narrative before a court date loomed was no accident. It costs nothing to assume the decision is real and everything to assume it isn't, so you applaud it, but you watch what comes next. On the question of whether the Rams might eventually move on, the speakeasy floated the possibility that if Puka does not clean up his image, and if the Rams take a receiver in the first round who shows comparable production potential, a franchise tag followed by a trade is not outside the realm of possibility.
Franchising and play franchising next season, not this upcoming season, the following season, and trading.
That projection lands differently when you consider what the Rams did this offseason. The team acknowledged it explored trading Davante Adams and actively pursued A.J. Brown in a potential swap. They are a franchise that never lets good be good enough. And on a roster that already has Adams, Matthew Stafford, and a first-round pick at 13, every layer of Puka's off-field noise gives them contractual leverage they would not otherwise have. Sean McVay himself acknowledged the Rams considered moving Adams when they were pursuing A.J. Brown. A team that will entertain moving a player who led the league in touchdown receptions will not flinch at asking hard questions about Puka Nacua's contract if the off-field situation continues to deteriorate.
And it's poor timing too, because Puka's entering the last year of his contract. We just saw Jackson Smith and Jigba get an extension yesterday for $170 million. Puka's in that same ballpark.
And yet, despite all of it, the footage that has been surfacing tells a different story about where Puka's head actually is. Shots from early April show him training alongside Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee at a facility in Los Angeles called The Village. Still locked in, still working, still connected to the men he plays with. His attorney noted in the confirmation statement that Puka is doing absolutely well and in good spirits. That carries weight, even if it does not resolve a single legal question. Puka Nacua is not a teenager processing sudden fame. He is 24, a father, a unanimous All-Pro, and the centerpiece of a franchise chasing another championship. The lens on him is not going away. The money coming toward him only intensifies it. And the one thing every person in his corner agrees on is that who Puka chooses to be off the field from this moment forward determines whether the rest of this story ends in a landmark contract and a legacy, or in a slow erosion that the talent alone cannot stop. The performance side of the ledger is already written. The part that matters now is the part that happens when the camera is on, and more importantly, when it is not. That chapter is still being written. If you enjoyed this video, click on the ones showing on your screen to enjoy more.